Right then, finally we've got some word from the Premier League. Can you believe it? After 18, 19 weeks, Richard Masters has finally spoken. Yeah, hi everyone, welcome to Newcastle Fans TV. So, yeah, he's spoken out. Richard Masters has finally spoken out. He's sent a letter to Onwurah. Obviously, Chi's been on the channel with us before. Concerns about Mike Ashley, but this is, of course, was all about the takeover. I'm going to just basically break it down a little bit what Richard Masters has said with the questions that Onwurah asked, and it's basically interesting. There's a key part in this which we'll want to rattle through. So we're going to begin why Richard Masters says that the reason why the Premier League have not spoken out about the takeover is due to confidentiality of the parties involved in that. Second question, thorough investigation and resolution takes time, and it's in the best interests of supporters by taking time on important matters, is what basically Masters was saying in reference to Chi's question, which you can see on your screen, of course. However, the big one was the next paragraph, where the Premier League board were concerned who was going to be running the club. The Premier League asked each related person with additional information, and they would be considered a possible a yes or a no. However, the consortium disagreed with this, and Masters claims that the Premier League offered to resolve the dispute with an independent tribunal if they wish to challenge the Premier League, and the consortium disagreed with the dispute, and Masters claims that the Premier League even went further as by offering the dispute to put it towards an independent tribunal who would make the decision, who would say yes or no to the Premier League or to the whoever, the PIF or Amanda Stavely or what have you. But Masters, interestingly, and this is key, Masters interestingly claims that the consortium did not take up the offer to provide further information or go to the tribunal. And the PIF, as we know, withdrew its process of a takeover after that ultimatum was effectively made by the Premier League. Now, who is Masters trying to blame here? He's obviously putting the blame, of course, over to the PIF. Of course he is. However, what if there is a bit of truth in it? We don't know. Of course we don't know. However, Amanda Stavely has came out and said that she needed the fans to get involved. Well, the fans have done fantastically well with the signature. Of course we have. We've got the petition over 110,000. We're involved with the Newcastle United Supporters Trust, so keep an eye on a video coming tomorrow with other YouTube channels on this channel about that as well. It'll be all across the socials the next couple of days. Other fan groups have pushed, and it's probably the most united that Newcastle's fan base has been for quite a period. So we have done what Amanda Stavely has asked. But interesting, Masters is basically putting the blame back. Something is flagging that they didn't feel confident enough to say yes. And they wanted more information, and it was from the PIF, and they wouldn't give it. And then we'll go to a tribunal to try and dispute that. And the consortium didn't want to do that. Why they didn't want to do it is Masters talking a load of bollocks here, or there is some truth in this. Who knows? Maybe Amanda Stavely or the PIF will come out with another statement. Who knows? But it's not the right answer, but at least it's something that Masters has come out with. The question 3 was around human rights and property rights, i.e. copyright infringement, of course. Masters basically said that the Premier League director's test, has a wide range of skills that may disqualify a party to protect clubs in the league. Is this what Masters was asking for? Again, I'm speculating here. Did he want more information from the Saudis? Or was it a case of they didn't want, as it's been speculated, they were concerned of who was going to be running the club, which Masters has admitted. So the speculation was true, that they were concerned of who was running the club. There's a lot of information there. It could be a human rights issue. It could be copyright infringements. It could be who was concerned about running the club. Because let's face it, if it's the king or prince of Saudi Arabia who's running Newcastle United, I don't think the Premier League will want that, don't you? However, they wanted more information of who was going to be involved in the day-to-day running. And human rights, possibly. I don't think human rights, for me personally, has a massive concern. I think it is a concern. Don't get me right, it's a big issue. However, copyright infringement affects the Premier League more because it costs the clubs a lot of money. And the reason why I say that, because I'll come back to that in a minute. And another question what she asked, and she got an answer around if other clubs had an influence on the decision of the Premier League saying a yes or no. Obviously, it's been speculated that Liverpool and Spurs were dead against the takeover happening. Obviously, it's a threat to them, perhaps. But Richard Master said that other clubs have no say in the process of their decision making with the Premier League board. Another question she asked was about the £17 million deposit that the consortium, i.e. the Reuben brothers, Amanda Staveley and the PIF put into Mike Ashley. Masters says it's got nothing to do with the Premier League, whether Ashley keeps the money or gets it's a deposit or what have you. So it had nothing to do with the Premier League on that. And finally, the last question was, the Premier League haven't briefed the press about any takeover of any information, so anything that has came out is not directly from them. They've also said that they'll be reviewing the fit and proper test in the coming months, so it's fair for all interested stakeholders. Moss has also said that he'll be meeting with the Premier League, with other fan groups. I know that the NUST have had a letter from Richard Master, so if you members, if you haven't received an email with the letter, it'll be in your inbox in the next 24 hours. And this is the first time that the Premier League have spoken publicly about the takeover, which Masters has obviously said that. So we do know that the takeover is real. Some people have doubted it. Richard Masters has come out and it's real. It's a real takeover that hasn't gone through. So people were doubting it's not real, it happens again. The Premier League have came out and said it's real. However, we give them a decision. We wanted more information. We'll put it at tribunal. And for whatever reason, the Saudis or Staveley or the Reuben brothers, I personally think it'll be the Saudis. So we don't know the full ins and outs. This is Master's side of the story. We've heard from Amanda Staveley's side. They'd done everything that they were asked to do. Amanda Staveley did say that. They'd done everything that the Premier League wanted. The Premier League are saying, well, actually, that's not true because we wanted more information about it. What's happening here, people? We're in a bit of a tangle here. Let us know your thoughts of the Premier League takeover. If there's more news, we'll update you. But we are having a special video over the weekend, as I mentioned, with other YouTube channels, because it's time to be united. It's not time to be squabbling against each other. So you'll see some YouTube faces that you may recognise on our channel over this weekend. And important that we must stress is that if you can join the NUST, they're your official voice. Alex Hurst will be also on the channel over the weekend as well. He's the chair of the NUST. Have a good weekend, everyone. Watch what he's doing. Ta-da. Bye-bye.